Many years ago in the city of Akure, in the busy market of Adegbola, stood a very big shop, painted bright pink and white, with a bold signboard that commanded attention. It was Bola's shop, a hairdressing salon. It was not like the other type of salon that we know. It was a special salon for children only. In this salon, they don't make bone straight or frontal installations there. What you see are brightly colored beads and hair bands and wooden combs. This shop was owned by a very beautiful and gentle woman named Bola. Bola was not just beautiful and hardworking. She had a special talent for braiding natural hair, especially children's hair. Her hands were soft and gentle like feather, and that made children love to sit on a braiding chair to get their hairs done. Bola could braid the toughest of hairs. There was no child Bola couldn't handle. Even the stubborn cry babies sat still like princesses in Bola's salon. Those stubborn children who cried and trashed everything when making their hairs mellowed down as soon as they stepped into Bola's shop. And Bola made sure to give her customers the very best. Her braids were neat and long-lasting. Years ago, when Bola newly came to Akure from the village, she had nothing but her dreams and her wooden combs. When she landed in Adegbola market, she started doing research. She went round the market for days, studying the entire market. Then, just like a revelation, she got the idea to open a children's salon. The very next week, Bola got a small shop and painted it bright pink and white, and bought plastic chairs and stools, and did her very first big signboard, Auntie B's Children Heaven. When people saw Bola's shop there, they wondered who the crazy person was that opened a salon just for children. People stared and wondered. The other big salon owners laughed and sneered at Bola's shop as they passed. But Bola was a smart businesswoman who did her research and found an untapped market, and she jumped right on it. The first week she started, business was slow. People were still watching, observing from one corner. The second week came, and one customer, Mama Toyi, came with her twins, who had stubborn hair like elephant grass that no other stylist wanted to touch. She decided to test Bola to see if she could handle her children's hair. That day, Bola with her magic fingers did wonders on the girl's head. Mama Toyi couldn't believe her eyes that someone could braid her children's hair, and they didn't cry or shout or run around the shop. She overpaid Bola that day and blew her trumpet all over the market. And before you know it, one more customer came, two came, five came, and in a few months, Bola became a household name in Akure. Her business boomed beyond her expectations. Children loved her, parents adored her, and her bank account kept swelling. Bola's shop got so popular that women lined up with their children from 6:30 a.m. just to sit on Bola's chair. Women with baby cars and gele all came from far and wide just to braid their children's hair. It got to a point that Bola introduced appointments. You must book appointment before you come to Auntie B's salon. No appointment, no braids. Every day was drama in Auntie B's shop. Women fought and dragged themselves like tiger generator because of appointments. Hi lovelies! Today's special shout out goes to Alicia Sukati from South Africa and Betana Baby from Uganda. And it goes to all my amazing subscribers and community members. I see you all and we say thank you for your immense support. If you're just tuning into this channel for the first time, please subscribe to our channel and let us know where you're watching from in the comment section so we can give you a shout out in our next video. One day, one of Bola's customer named Mama Abike missed a 9 a.m. appointment because of traffic. When she got to Bola's salon, she had already moved on to her next customer, which was Mama Choma's daughter. When Mama Abike entered the salon and saw Bola braiding another child's hair, she flared up in anger. Apparently, her husband had offended her that morning at home. "Bola, why are you braiding another customer's hair now? It is my daughter's turn," Mama Abike said, sounding irritated. "Ah, mommy, don't be offended though, but you are 45 minutes late. I had to move on to the next customer since you were not here," Bola tried to explain. "Bola, I was stuck in traffic. Abeg, leave that girl's hair and do Abike's hair. I have another engagement," Mama Abike said with anger. Mama Choma, who had been watching from the corner, finally spoke up. "Bele o, Madam Engagement. So Bola should leave my daughter and attend to your daughter after you missed your appointment because you are president's wife, abi? Auntie Bola, please continue plaiting my daughter's hair." "Eh? You say wetin? Who are you talking to? Do you know who I am? You this second-hand woman. Is it me you are talking to like that?" Mama Abike backed. "Eh? Who are you calling second-hand woman? Do you know who I am?" Mama Choma clapped back. Before anybody could say jack, the two women jammed themselves like Lagos traffic and collided head to head like two hungry bulls. Before you know it, gele started flying, wigs shifted, lashes started flying round Bola's shop. When Bola saw that they were about to destroy her shop that she had worked so hard to build, she rushed towards them to try to separate them. But her left hand got caught up in the fierce chicken fight between Mama Choma and Mama Abike. Mama Choma grabbed Bola's hand and twisted it, thinking it was Mama Abike's hand. Bola screamed, "Yay! Egbami o! My hand oh! My hand oh! Yay!" Bola's workers and the other women had to force Bola's golden hand out of Mama Choma's grip and then drag the two women out of Bola's shop like chickens. The fight didn't end there. It continued outside Bola's shop. Slap flew left, right, center. Punchings were sounding like talking drum. They met themselves bumper to bumper. They fought fiercely. Over what exactly? Appointment inside Bola's salon. Other market women had to run down to separate the two women from destroying themselves and the cars around Bola's shop. That day, Bola just sat there, shaking to her core, with her sprained wrist resting on her laps. Even she couldn't explain what just happened. She just sat there, dumbfounded and in pain. Those two rascals wanted to spoil market for her. They wanted to damage her money-making machine, her golden hand. That evening, Bola sent other customers away since Mama Choma and Mama Abike almost broke her bones. She closed her shop early and went home to massage her hand with hot water and rub. For the next couple of days, Bola closed her shop. Her hand was very sore from Mama Choma's WrestleMania attack, so she decided to just use the opportunity to relax herself and rest. Bola told her workers not to come to work, but her customers kept calling her phone. They kept calling, messaging on WhatsApp, Facebook. Some even visited her house to ask why her shop was locked. "Auntie Bola, my children's graduation is tomorrow. Come and make their hair. Auntie Bola, my children have birthday party to attend. Auntie Bola this, Auntie Bola that." Bola's ears were filled with complaints. Eventually, on the third day, she decided to resume work since her hand had healed completely. That day started like any other day at Auntie B's children heaven. But later that day, something or someone walked into Bola's shop, and that encounter turned her life upside down. A young, handsome, dark-skinned man wearing crisp white sleeve and black trouser with long hair packed to the back stepped into Bola's shop. The man was tall with a bright smile that made heart flutter. The man walked with confidence and scanned the entire shop as if he was a police officer at a checkpoint. And then he said, "Good afternoon. Please, I'm looking for Auntie Bola." Bola, who was arranging bead on a little girl's head, looked up and replied, "Good afternoon, sir. Any problem?" The man smiled and said, "So you must be the celebrity Bola then." Please, I want to make my hair. I have heard so much about you. You mean your daughter's hair? Bola asked, confused. No, I want to make my hair, the man insisted. The entire salon fell silent. Bola's worker turned to look at their madam and to the strange man who wanted to braid his hair in a children's salon. Sir, this salon is for children only. There's a unisex salon not too far from here. You can go there and check, Bola said. But the man shook his head. I want you to braid my hair. I have a very soft scalp and I heard you have gentle hand for children. I'm willing to pay you 100,000 naira for you to braid my hair, the man said. When Bola heard 100,000 naira, her eyes went big. She would have to make over 20 children's hair to get 100k, and now this man is offering that for just simple weaving. This one a golden opportunity. Oh. She left what she was doing and went close to the man and whispered to him to come back by 6:30 when all the children and their mummies would have left. She had started calculating what she would buy in her shop with the money. If only she knew. That evening, exactly 6:30 p.m., the man walked into Bola's shop like a breeze and he sat on Bola's braiding chair to get his hair done. But as soon as Bola touched his head, she felt a sharp chill, almost like an electric shock, running down her spine. Bola froze for a second at the feeling, but she quickly composed herself and brushed off the feeling. When she stared at the man from the mirror, he was smiling and staring at her. Bola had to force herself to smile back at him just to be polite, and she started braiding his hair. All through the braiding session, Bola couldn't understand the feeling that washed over her. She kept telling herself that nothing was wrong, that maybe she was just tired, or maybe because she hadn't braided any adult hair in a long time. So when the man started forming small conversations, she forced herself to respond to him. After she finished her work, the man brought out 100,000 naira from his pocket and handed it to Bola and told her his name was Dakbo. And then he left, just as he came, like a breeze. That night, Bola had a disturbing dream. She found herself inside her salon at night. She was braiding a little girl's hair, while the other children sat on their stool waiting for their turn, just like a normal everyday routine. But there was something strange this time. The children were motionless like dolls. Their eyes were white, and they were just static like dolls. The shop was dark, and Bola found herself braiding one of the girls' hair at a very fast speed. It was as if her hands were no longer hers, as if something has taken over. Bola tried to stop her hands from moving, but she couldn't. She tried to shout, but nothing came out of her mouth. Then suddenly, a figure with sunken cheeks and white shiny eyes stood behind her and whispered to her ears, "Braid faster. Well done. They are waiting for you. Braid faster." Bola felt a chill running down her spine and she screamed out of her sleep in terror. When she regained consciousness, she found herself on her bed in her room. Her heart was racing as cold sweat broke out on her skin. Bola looked around her tiny room, but everything was normal. Now which kind dream be this? She muttered to herself. God abeg o, na only braid I do o, she said, as her mind kept going back to that man, Dakbo, that she braided his hair earlier. Bola laid on her bed staring at her ceiling, trying to wrap her head around the strange dream she just had, and eventually she dozed off into a deep sleep. By the next morning, Bola had completely forgotten about the strange dream she had. The drama that always happened at Auntie B's salon made her forget. That day her schedule was packed and she didn't even have time to eat lunch. And by the end of the day, Bola went home exhausted and passed out into deep sleep with no bad dream at all. So Bola never thought about the dream again. All things have passed away. She went to her shop every day and everything seemed to be normal, just as it has always been. But a week later, Dakbo returned with his usual devilishly handsome face and smile. When Bola saw him at that door, she froze for a second and remembered the strange feeling she had when she braided his hair for the first time and the strange dream she had that same night. Dakbo walked into Bola's shop and said, "If you are not too busy, can you help me retouch my hair?" Bola stared at him for a second. One might told her to say no, but the man offered 100k this time again. Before you know it, Bola opened her mouth and said, "I am available, sir. Please sit down." Bola braided Dakbo's hair that evening, and she didn't get any chills or weird feeling. Everything was normal. "You see, maybe you were just overthinking it," Amai told her. When she was done, Dakbo paid her 100k and everything was normal. She slept that night and everything was normal. There was no bad dream, nothing, just sweet sound sleep. When Bola woke up the next morning, she smiled. Dakbo is just a normal customer, she said to herself. She brought out the money Dakbo paid her the previous day and started counting it again with smiles on her face. And before she went to work that morning, she wrote down a list of what to restock in her salon, and her life and business went on perfectly. The next week, Dakbo came back to braid his hair and paid 100k. He returned the next week and the next and the next, and before you know it, Dakbo became a regular customer at Auntie B's salon. Bola got comfortable around him and found out that he was a very nice man. They started talking small, and Dakbo started bringing gifts each time he came to braid his hair. Small chops and malts today, as soon an Hollandia yogurt tomorrow. Soon, Dakbo and Bola became very close that Dakbo visited her at the salon every day after work. And they would smile at each other and laugh and gist. Bola's workers and customers noticed and they started teasing her. Iyawo loading, Ashwebi loading, Bola and Dakbo 2025. And Bola would blush and smile. She had fallen inside the love Dakbo had specially prepared for her. And this love, a joke. One day, after closing, Dakbo asked Bola out in her salon and she immediately accepted. And that was how they started dating. Their love was sweet. Dakbo was even sweeter. He brought lunch every day for Bola and her workers. He bought special gifts for her and even gave her money without her asking. Bola felt on top of the world. She thought Dakbo was her final bus stop. In 3 months after they started dating, Dakbo proposed marriage, and in another 2 months, they were married, and Bola moved into Dakbo's house in another part of Akure, and that was when the real trouble started. Bola started having strange dreams every night, where she finds herself in a salon, braiding children's hair who were sitting like they were dolls. And that same strange figure kept telling her to braid faster. They are waiting for you. Well done. Every night, the dreams kept getting more and more intense than the last. And each time Bola told Dakbo, he would hold her sweetly and tell her it was just a nightmare, that not everybody was happy with her success and marriage in Adegbola market. The dreams continued, but that was not the worst part. Barely 2 months into their marriage, Dakbo started going on strange business trips every weekend. And each time he got back from those strange business trips, he would always get her gifts. But these gifts were not jewelries or designer bag or even perfume. No, it was always a beautiful set of combs. At first, Bola was surprised that her husband always got her combs. And when she asked, he said he saw the beautiful set of combs at the market. And they reminded him of his beautiful wife. So he decided to buy them for her. Use them in your shop, he would say, with his usual smile. Bola collected the gift and thanked him. But he kept bringing back different sets of combs. Some were beautifully crafted wooden combs. Some were even golden combs. But the gifts were always combs. One day, Bola decided to take those beautiful combs to a salon to use them. That day, she arrived at work and started braiding a little girl named Tife's hair. But as soon as she used one of the comb her husband gave her to part Tife's hair, the child froze as if she was jolted by an electric current. And before you know it, her eyes rolled to the back of her head and Tife collapsed on Bola's braiding chair. Bola froze, then screamed. Everybody in the shop shouted, "Yay!" Mama Tife rushed towards her daughter and carried her away from Bola's shop to the nearest chemist. Bola was dumbfounded and shocked. So was the other customers. But later, they all brushed it off. Some mummies said that maybe Tife was short of blood. Others said she was malnourished, that her mother was not feeding her well. Some even said it was malaria. But Bola just sat there in panic. Something inside her was telling her something was wrong somewhere. Her mind flashed back to the constant nightmare she had been having and the strange combs her husband had been bringing home from his trip. But later, she brushed it off, since something like that had never happened before. But what she didn't know was that was only the beginning. That same week, 5 other children fainted on Bola's braiding chair, and people started looking with corner eye. They started asking questions. Parents started cancelling appointments. Then one Tuesday afternoon, the worst happened. A little girl named Zara fainted again on Bola's chair, and her mother rushed her to the hospital. But before they could get to the nearest hospital, Zara died on her mother's arms. Bam! That was the beginning of the end of Bola's children's heaven. Zara's mom cried bitterly. Zara was perfectly healthy and was even jumping and playing when they arrived at Bola's salon. Now, she left with her daughter's lifeless body. Zara's mom told her husband what had happened that day, and they mobilized area boys and stormed Adegbola's market. That day, Adegbola market was on fire and hot pepper soup. The area boys entered Bola's shop and dragged her out. They smashed everything inside her shop and tore down her big beautiful signboard. The market women gathered and started asking questions, and then Mama Zara explained what had happened, and they shouted. The other salon women who had been envying her started calling her names. She be witch, oh, children eater, she takes children's destiny, Ogbanje, different names that Bola had never heard before. That day, Mama Zara, who was grieving, pounced on Bola and dragged her hair and almost tore off her clothes. And before anybody could say jack, the area boys had brought out tire and petrol to burn Bola alive. The market women who were close to Bola and knew something was definitely fishy somewhere stood their ground and shielded Bola, and one woman, Mama Kola, the women leader in the market, helped Bola escape for her dear life. Bola ran with no shoes, her hair scattered, her dress almost torn to pieces. She ran straight home to her husband. When she got to their gate, she barged into their parlor and collapsed on the floor, panting, and then she burst into hot tears. "Baby, what happened? What is the matter?" Dakbo asked with concern on his face. Bola collapsed on her husband's arms, sobbing uncontrollably, and then she told him everything that happened at the market. How she was almost burnt alive by area boys. Dakbo held her tight. "Sorry, my love. I know you are innocent. Don't worry, we will figure this out," he said with his usual smile. That night, Bola couldn't eat. The food couldn't go through her throat. She just showered and went straight to bed around 7 p.m. with a sore body and a troubled mind. It wasn't long after Bola laid on her bed that she drifted into a deep sleep with a very fierce nightmare. She was back at her salon, braiding the children's hair who were looking like dolls. But this time, the air in the salon was thick. The lights were flickering. Bola was trembling. And then came the figure. It placed its hand on Bola's shoulders and then whispered, "You have done well so far, but I'm not done with you yet. Braid faster. They are waiting for you. Well done. Keep going." Bola was terrified. She wanted to scream, but no sound came out of her mouth. Then she looked in the mirror in front of her, and what she saw sent chills down her spine. The figure had Dakpo's face, or rather, the figure was Dakpo, her husband, and he was smiling at her with his usual devilish smiles. Bola screamed out of her dream and jerked up from her bed. Wetin be this? She was panting hard and trembling. Her throat was dried. Bola looked around the room and couldn't find her husband. She looked at the time and it was 11 p.m. at night. She got up from where she sat and went downstairs to get water to drink and also look for her husband to tell him about the dream she just had. But when she got to the living room, the sight she saw had her screaming in terror. It was Dakpo. He was sitting on the floor in their living room and he was braiding his own hair. But the head was not on his head. It was on his lap as he braided. Then suddenly, the head turned to Bola and smiled sinisterly at her, just like in the dream. Bola's brain could interpret only one thing at that time. It was to flee. Hi, lovelies. What do you think of the story? What would happen to Bola now that she had seen Dakpo's true form? Who and what exactly is Dakpo? What is the fate of Bola? Fled from her husband's house that night into the street, barefoot, with only her nightwear. This kind of fleeing was that kind that her legs were touching the back of her head as she ran. Them say na run wey no serious. Now woman they run, they use hand, they hold breast. My Nigerian besties, please help us explain the meaning of that parable in English in the comment section. Bola ran to Mama Kola's house, the women leader in Adegbola market. When she got to her gate, she banged on the gate with all her might, screaming, "Iya, Iya oh, help me." Iya rushed out of her house to find Bola in chaos. She opened her gate and took her inside. When Bola entered Mama Kola's living room, she fell to the floor, crying bitterly. Iya was shocked to see Bola in that state. She asked what the problem was, but Bola couldn't talk. She couldn't explain what her eyes had seen in Dakpo's house. So she just sat there, crying, thinking about her life and how she ignored the signs and warnings, and how she ended up in this mess. After crying for hours, she told Mama Kola what she saw. As she saw Dakpo weaving his own head on his lap, Bola told Kola about the strange dream she had been getting since she moved in with Dakpo, and how her husband kept bringing strange combs every time he went on a business trip. Bola finally revealed that the calamity in her salon started when she used one of the combs her husband gave to her to part little Tife's hair. Mama Kola's mouth fell open in shock. Bola, you mean you have been having this kind of dreams and you kept quiet? Why didn't you come to me? Bola, I warned you about this young man. He smiled too much. My spirit told me that there was something wrong with him from the beginning, Mama Kola said with worry on her face. Yeah, help me oh. He said he's not done with me yet in the dream. Yeah, I'm in trouble oh. Help me, Bola wailed. Mama Kola stared at Bola and sighed deeply. She had never seen or heard of this kind of case before. After long seconds of silence, she finally said, Bola, stop crying. I know a place, a very powerful prophet. He can save you from all this wahala. I will take you there tomorrow. When Bola heard those words, she felt a little bit reassured that maybe help was close, but she was wrong. Hi lovelies, today's special shout out goes to at Winnie Morgan from Dubai and at Miss Fantastical, and to all my amazing community members and subscribers. We say thank you. We see you. If you're just tuning into this channel for the first time, please subscribe to our channel. Give this video a thumbs up and let us know where you're watching this video from in the comment section below so we can give you a shout out in our next video. The next day, Mama Kola didn't go to the market. She took Bola to her prophet's house in another part of Akure. When they arrived at the prophet's house, He told Bola that her husband was a spirit husband and that she was bound to him. The prophet prayed for Bola and gave her special incense to burn in her room at night to ward off the evil spirit. He told her to come back the next day to begin a 7-day spiritual cleansing exercise that would disconnect her and the spirit. And then Bola and Mama Kola returned home. But that night, as Bola closed her eyes to sleep, Dapo came to her. It was not like in a dream or nightmare. No. He came to her physically in the guest room she was staying in Mama Kola's house. Bola could see him walking towards her on the bed with his usual sinister smile. She tried to scream, but no sound came out of her mouth. She tried to move her body, but it was like an invisible force was holding her down on the bed. Dapo walked closer to her and sat close to her and said, "Did you think you can escape me? I'm not done with you yet. That fake prophet cannot help you. You have to keep braiding. They are waiting for you. If you stop, you and everyone around you will die, and no prophet can stop me. Keep braiding," he commanded, and vanished like breeze just as he appeared. When he left, Bola broke down in tears. She was in deep trouble and hot pepper soup, and she had no idea how to get out. But that was not the worst part. When they returned to the prophet's house for her spiritual cleansing exercise, they were told the prophet had died in his dream last night. One woman said he screamed out of his sleep, and by the time his people came to check up on him, he was gone, lifeless. Bola collapsed on the floor in terror. It was then it dawned on her that Dapo was very serious. When she told Mama Kola what happened in the room last night, she screamed, "Yay, Bola, you can't stay here, oh. Come and be going to your father's house, oh. I don't want anything to happen to my children and I, oh. Please come and go." That day, Mama Kola gave her small transport money to go back to her village. As Bola left for the motor park, she remembered when she arrived in Akure years ago with her bag and her wooden combs. With big dreams, now she was returning to her village with nothing but the clothes on her back. When she arrived at her village, her parents were shocked to see their daughter, looking battered and dejected. They asked what the problem was, but Bola couldn't get words out of her mouth to reply them. She just stared at her parents in tears and held her mother tightly. She was terrified to tell them anything after what happened to that prophet. That night, Dapo returned to Bola's room. "I told you can't escape me. You need to keep braiding. Go to the market and keep braiding their hairs. They need more. They are waiting for you, Bola." The next night, Dapo came back with even more serious threats. He kept coming back physically every night to warn her to keep braiding. So one day, Bola got up and told her parents she was going back to the city, and she left. But she didn't go back to Akure. She went to another town far from home where nobody knew her, and then she opened a salon and started braiding. Her new salon quickly gathered customers because of how neat and stylish her braids were. People flocked to her shop. Women all gathered at her shop daily to get their heads done. It wasn't long that the town folks fell in love with Bola and her magic hands. But shortly afterwards, the disaster started. Just like in the case of Adegbola market in Akure, one day, the first child fainted on her braiding chair. Then 2 children fainted. Then 5 children. And then one day, 2 children who came to our shop to braid their hairs the previous day slept and never woke up. When Bola saw that calamity had begun, she fled the town that night and went to another town to start all over again. And then another town. And then another town. And for 2 years, Bola moved like a Fulani herdsman from one village to another, one town to another, one village market to another village market, just to braid children's hair to please her spirit husband Dapo. And every night, Dapo kept appearing to her, sometimes through her dreams, Other times, see me see you korokoro eye. Bola, who was once a big woman with girls and customers, became a shadow of herself, living like a rat from one town to another, isolated from her friends and family. Bola tried to get help several times, but each time it backfired. On one occasion, Bola was invited to a church program by one of her customers. Bola confided in the woman that she had a spirit husband, and the woman invited her for night vigil. Bola went to the night vigil, and the prayer warriors prayed for her. After that prayer session, she was confident that Dapo was gone for good. But when she returned home the next day, Dapo visited her in her dream and gave her a very dirty slap in her right ear. "How dare you try to escape me? I'm not done with you yet. Keep braiding," he thundered in the dream. Bola screamed out of her dream in pain, and she couldn't hear with her right ear for months. She visited several native doctors, but it was like Dapo was more powerful than them all. Every day, Bola cried her life bitterly. She felt stuck with no hope of escape, and she had no choice but to keep braiding children's hair when she knew that some of them will mysteriously meet their end eventually. Bola felt dirty and filthy, and every day she kept calling on God to save her from Dapo, because every day she was losing her sanity gradually, and her life, her youth, was slowly slipping away from her. One day, Bola arrived in a new town in Ibadan called Ajibade, a fresh town to get fresh souls for Dapo. When she got there, she went around the village to scout for a place to plant her salon, to begin her activities, just as she had been doing in all the other villages she had been to. Bola did her research and asked questions around the village, and she found out that there were no good hairdressing salon in the village. The local hairdressers did their business from their houses, and competition was very low. That same week, Bola got a shop very close to a small church and started her salon business. She painted the salon a signature bright pink and white with a big signboard that said "Bees Air Empire." And just like that, business started. The very first day she opened, a little girl named Naomi came with her mother to do simple shuku style for school. Naomi was the sharp 8-year-old girl. She was the new pastor's daughter who just arrived to Ajibade. That day, as soon as Bola touched Naomi's head, she felt a sense of peace wash over her. She couldn't explain it. It was as if all the dirt in her body was suddenly just washed away, like a heavy burden was lifted off her shoulders. Bola braided Naomi's hair with extra care and attention. She took her time, braiding slowly, just to continue to enjoy that moment of peace she was feeling. And after she was done, she didn't collect money from Naomi's mother. She told them that they were her first customer, so it was free of charge. Auntie Bola, thank you. God bless you, ma. Mama Naomi said as she thanked Bola, and they left. After that encounter, Bola burst into uncontrollable tears. She fell to the floor in her salon and wept like a baby. She had never felt this kind of peace as she felt when she braided Naomi's hair in a very long time. It was like the little girl had a stronger power around her. When she finally gathered herself, she got up and closed her shop and went straight home to the one-bedroom apartment she rented. That night, Bola slept like a baby for the first time in 2 years. She didn't dream about Dapo. Dapo didn't appear to her. All she felt was peace and a sweet sleep. The next day, Bola went to her salon, and many customers came to her shop to braid their hairs. At first, she was scared that somebody's child would soon faint on her braiding chair. But nothing happened. The day went by like any other normal day for a normal hairstylist. Then the next day came and went, and nothing happened. No fainting, no area boys, no chaos. And so was the next day. Then 1 month passed, 2 months passed. It was like film trick for Bola. She had never lasted more than a month in a village before Dapo usually strikes. Bola started hoping that maybe she was free now from Dapo's manipulation, but she never fully unpacked her bags. Everything was always ready in case she needs to flee when the villagers discovers her secret. Bola never bought furniture or electronics. Her room was empty except for a mat for sleeping and a small pot and a stove for cooking food. She had no major savings because she was always on the run. But this time in Ajibade, it felt like things were going to be different. 3 months passed without any chaos or calamity. But just as she was thinking she was finally free from Dapo, one night, she had a dream where she was back at her salon in Akure. The salon was dark with strange markings on the wall. The lights were flickering, the air was thick, and Bola found herself sitting on her own braiding chair, and someone or something was braiding her hair at a very fast speed. Bola tried to free herself, but it was like something powerful was holding her down on her chair. The figure tightened its grip on Bola's hair, and it was like her scalp was on fire. Then the figure that was braiding her hair turned to Dapo. He was staring at her through the mirror, smiling with his usual signature smile. "I told you to keep braiding," he said with a strange voice. "Why did you stop braiding?" "I told you there will be consequences if you stop braiding. Now you will pay with your life." Suddenly, Bola was back in her small room, laying on her mat, gasping for air. It was like someone or something was choking the life out of her. Bola lay there struggling for her life, thinking that this was the end, thinking that this was where she would die, when suddenly she heard a knock on her door. Immediately the hands choking her freed her. The knock came again, and then voices. "Auntie Bola! Auntie Bola!" It was Naomi's voice. Bola struggled to answer and then dragged herself from her mat to open the door. There she saw Naomi and her parents standing in front of her door. "Auntie Bola, are you okay? I had a strange dream about you," Naomi said. And Bola burst into tears, sobbing uncontrollably as she fell to the floor. "Auntie Bola, are you okay? Why are you crying?" Naomi asked as she came close to Bola and pat her on the head, trying to console her. Immediately, Bola felt a wave of relief wash over her again, just like that first day at her salon. "Auntie Bola, Kilode, I can tell you are very troubled," Pastor Shegun, Naomi's father, said. "We have been inviting you to come to church, but you refused. Bring your heavy burden before Jesus and be free," he said with a low voice. Bola turned to him and replied amidst her tears, "Pastor, you don't understand. You won't understand. This man wants to finish my life. I have lost everything. I have sacrificed many children just to please him. But now he wants to take my life," Bola said. "We may not understand what you are going through, but God understands. He is your creator and is the only one that can set you free indeed," Mama Naomi replied. That night, Bola opened her mouth and revealed everything that she had been through. How she had a big business in Akure and how Dapo walked into her life and turned everything upside down. She told them how she had been living from hand to mouth with no savings, no friends, no home, nothing, just isolated from everybody. Pastor Shegun and his wife listened carefully with patience, and when Bola finished narrating her ordeal, the pastor began. "Auntie Bola, this is a clear case of satanic manipulation. You are bound by marriage to his kingdom. That is why it has been so difficult to free yourself from him. When you braided his hair in your salon in Akure, you indirectly entered into a covenant with him. And when you married him in the physical realm, your covenant was cemented. And he won't leave you until he has drained everything from you. And by then, you might be too old to even braid anybody's hair. But there's good news. Jesus is still the same yesterday, today, and forever. He would set you free, and you will be free indeed. All you need to do is fix your eyes on him, your helper and your deliverer, and everything will be fine." That night, Naomi laid her hands on Bola's head and prayed a simple prayer. "Oh Lord, bless Auntie Bola. Give her peace. Remove everything that is bothering her and cover her with your precious blood. Amen. There was no loud violent prayers or special deliverance session. Naomi's simple and sincere prayers was all it took for the chains that held Bola back for years to be broken. And Bola felt it. She felt the chains that held her bound to Dapo break. That night, Bola burst into fresh rounds of tears. But this time, it was not tears of frustrations or pain. It was tears of liberation and new beginnings. From that night, Bola never saw Dapo ever again, not physically or through dreams. The next Sunday, Bola went to Pastor Shegun's church and rededicated her life to God and vowed to never leave again. All those years in Akure, she never served God. Her business was her God. Money was her God. Her customers who queued up every day to braid their hairs were her gods. And now that she had seen life in a very hard way, she vowed to never leave God's side. Bola dropped her comb and retired from her hairdressing business. She told herself it was time to move on. That evening, she called her mother for the first time in 2 years. "Hello, Iya mi," Bola said over the phone. When Mama Bola heard her voice, she froze. It was her child's voice, who she thought was probably dead by now. She couldn't believe her ears. "Hello, Tani?" Mama Bola asked. "Mommy, it is me, Bola, your daughter." Mama Bola screamed out, "Jesu! Bola Tito, is that you? I never thought I would ever hear your voice again before I leave this world. Bola, is this really you?" Mama Bola asked again in tears and disbelief. "Mommy, it's me. Bola, where are you? Where have you been? What happened to you? We have not heard or seen you in 2 years. We went to Akure to find you, but we couldn't find you. We went to your house to look for you, but we couldn't find you, Odapo. What happened to you, my daughter?" "Mommy, it is a very long story. I'm coming home. I will tell you everything when I see you." That night, Bola packed her small bag and went to Pastor Shegun's house to tell them that she was going back to her village. The pastor and his family prayed for Bola and they exchanged contacts to keep in touch. And early morning the next day, Bola carried her bag and went home to her family, to her newborn again life, to her new beginning, to start life afresh with God. When she got to her village, to her father's house, she hugged her parents tightly. Mama Bola couldn't believe her eyes that Bola had returned in flesh and blood. She cried as she held her daughter. That night, Bola told them all she went through in the hands of Dapo and how God delivered her using an 8-year-old girl. Her parents cried as they listened to their daughter's tales of life. And they rejoiced that she returned and she survived. A few months later, Bola started a small hair accessory and hair product business where she sold different things like relaxers, conditioners, hair bands, and the likes. And she added small snacks and perfume to the front to support. This time, she held God strong with both hands, never letting go. Thank you for watching. This story is for that one man or one woman who feels completely, utterly overwhelmed with life circumstances. It feels like you have reached rock bottom with nowhere else to go. But guess what? There's hope. There's a way out. All you need to do is to come back to your Creator and pour out all your burdens on Him and start afresh with Him. Don't give up. You can't afford to give up.